here's how it's going to work. Firstly, we're going to work on our simple expressions using only the eyebrows and the mouth. Then we are going to talk about the other parts of the face that we can change to bring a bit of nuance into our expressions. Finally, there are the extra parts that we can then add to complement the expression. Most expressions can be conveyed with only the eyebrows and the mouth. However, because they do most of the heavy lifting, they are also very delicate, meaning that the slightest changes can affect the emotion that you're trying to convey. I'll show you. Here's an expression sheet that you may or may not have seen. Using just the eyebrows and mouth, a lot of these expressions can be accounted for, which is absolutely insane if you think about it. You can even keep the eyes the same and have all the expressions still be accurate. So to start off with, I suggest practicing drawing in these expressions using only the eyebrows and mouth to get a feel for these emotions. If you're feeling confident, you can add in the eyes and whatnot too. This isn't to say that the other parts of the face, such as eyebrow angle, pupil size, eyelash weight, eyelash thickness, or eye shape, just to name a few, don't play a role in facial expressions. They certainly do, but they are much more nuanced. If you know how the eyebrow and mouth behave exactly, you can also start to join emotions together by combining the aspects. For example, if you want a shocked and angry face, you can combine the aspects of the eyebrows and the mouth to get a mix. But save this for when you're comfortable enough. Focus on the simple expressions first. Don't worry, you'll get there eventually. If we can understand what things we can change and how that affects the expression, we can control and refine our expressions much better. So let's see here. Alright, let me just pull this up real quick. Okay, let's see here. Eyebrow angle, pupil size, eyelash weight, eyelash thickness. That's a lot. There's no way we're getting through all of that. When you're drawing the eye, much like any other object, the shape matters a lot. Fortunately, it works the same way as any other object. Rounded and circular shapes are more soft. Triangles are more intense and sharper, demanding attention. Square shapes are more structured, stable, and neutral. The shapes you choose add a lot more than you might think, so try testing them out. The eyes are the window to the soul, or something like that. The bigger the eye, the softer and expressive it is. The smaller, the more intense. I forgot to include eye size, but eye size is another aspect you can change. Eye size should be the same as pupil size. Big means more expressive and small means more intense. The focus point is the point between the eyes just above the nose. When you're drawing lines, they are all inherently vectors guiding the viewer's gaze. The more lines there are towards the focus point, the more aggressive the guidance and the more intense the expression is because it feels like your gaze is being pulled in. Contrast with a face whose lines avoid the focus point, the expression is more relaxed and calm. Lines that point towards the focus point can be thought of as dynamic, and lines that do not can be thought of as static. Simply, the more lines that are converging towards the focus point, the more intense the emotion is. If the angle of the eyebrow is flat, it will look neutral. If I angle it slightly downwards towards the focus point, it will intensify the emotion. If the angle is slightly upwards away from the focus point, it will soften the emotion. As I've mentioned before, the eyebrows are very delicate, so be careful when changing this part. Alright, stay with me for this one. Let's label the inner end of the eyelash point A and the outer end of the eyelash point B. When I say eyelash position, I'm talking about whether A is higher or lower than B. If A is lower than B, then the expression is intense because it's pointing towards the focus point. If they are on the same elevation, the expression is neutral. Thin eyelashes have a weaker impression than thicker eyelashes, which have a stronger impression. What I mean by this is that having thicker eyelashes may cause viewers to look at the eyelashes more than everything else. The thickness of the eyelashes don't really impact the expression, but I think it's good to keep in mind regardless. Flatter mouths are generally less expressive and neutral because you're either smiling or frowning. Mouths that are curvier are more expressive. However, a neat little trick that you can do with a neutral mouth is to flick on the sides of the mouth. This way, you can keep the unexpressiveness of the expression while showing a bit of emotion. Sharper mouths tend to be more intense, while rounder shapes for the mouth are softer. Simple and sweet. Bigger mouths are more expressive than closed mouths, and the more open a mouth is, the more expressive it is too. When you're considering the size of the mouth, make sure to consider the width and the height of the mouth as well. Just because you've drawn one side of the face a particular way doesn't mean that you have to do the other face the same way, especially if you're having trouble drawing symmetry. Instead, you can call it an artistic decision by having the other side of the face be different. This way you can mix and match emotions into a singular and nuanced emotion. The combinations are plentiful, so like before, it's best to test by mixing and matching to try to see what you can get, especially now that you know what to change. While we're at it, you can also combine many aspects that we've talked about previously, like with the mouth shape for example. Instead of being exclusively sharp or round, you can make a hybrid of the two and get the best of both worlds. And there you have it. Next time when you're figuring out why your expression looks weird or not quite right, you can refer to this little cheat sheet to troubleshoot. What I recommend doing now is going back to the simple expressions you've drawn earlier and playing around with the components of the face that we just talked about. Once you're done with the nuance of the expression, you can start to add little details that enhance the face. There's not really a guide for this one, it's just more of what you've seen before. For example, if they're exhausted, you can make them sweat. If they're happy, you can show sparkles in their eyes. Again, no concrete guide for this. Just make sure to take a screenshot or bookmark something if you like what you saw and you want to use as a reference. In this section, I will just be doing examples. And that's it. And remember, theory is just work that doesn't exist yet, so make sure to practice your expressions too instead of just watching videos. If you can think of any other aspect of the face that you can change that I missed, feel free to list them in the comments. I wish you luck in your art journey.